Hey, Mama, welcome to the Thrive Mama podcast. I'm Martina, certified nutrition consultant and holistic health coach, and a mama of two, and I'm so glad you're here. We are here to help busy moms unlock their energy, balance their hormones, and break out of burnout using nutrition as a foundation. So, we're going to be diving into actionable nutrition strategies and nervous system healing work, aligning with your cycles, all with a healthy dose of relatable motherhood thrown into the mix, all designed to help you move past just surviving every day and into true thriving in motherhood. Let's do this. You guys, we're here. I have been dreaming of creating this podcast space for quite a while. And this is episode 1. And I'm just so thrilled to be here connecting with you. And I'm really grateful that this podcast has found its way to you today. So, this podcast is for you if you are anywhere on your motherhood journey and you are craving more energy and less stress in motherhood. And we're going to be talking about all things nutrition and holistic health in motherhood. And we'll be really zooming in on things like hormones, blood sugar, syncing your life with your menstrual cycle, and unlocking your natural energy through nutrition and herbs and daily healthy habits to really help your body and mind and soul thrive along the motherhood journey. And this first episode is going to be a little bit of a shorty. I just want to set the space for us so you know what to expect. And I also want to tell you a little bit about my own health and motherhood journey. So I became a mom in 2020, May of 2020 to be exact. So right at the beginning of lockdown. And if you also were pregnant during this time, you know this was a time of so much uncertainty and stress. And I always knew that I wanted to be a mom. It was always in my plans. And I was really looking forward to that magical pregnancy and newborn stage. And then in my third trimester, the world shut down. And I found myself weeks away from giving birth and suddenly feeling very isolated and very stressed. And at this point, I had been on my own health journey for about 5 years. So, just a little bit about my pre-motherhood health journey. When I was 22 years old, I stopped taking birth control and my body freaked out. Has anyone else maybe stopped taking birth control and then experienced like crazy side effects? So, my body went haywire. I immediately started breaking out, gaining weight, my anxiety was off the charts, and my periods disappeared completely for like 3 years. So I saw doctors, I got ultrasounds, and I was eventually told I had something called premature ovarian failure and that I would probably never be able to conceive naturally. The only solution was to go back on the birth control pill to control my symptoms. And then if I wanted to have babies, we would do IVF down the road. I was 22 and I was devastated and also kind of angry. Like, how is this the best we can do here? How is this the best solution we've got? So I immediately sought out second opinions and more tools, and I found a naturopathic doctor. Together, we started using foods and herbs to rebalance my hormones naturally. And before working together, my diet was pretty much what you would expect from a new college grad living on a teacher's salary, right? There was some kale salads thrown in there, but plenty of convenience food and pasta nights and Chick-fil-A. Wasn't paying a ton of attention to my food. But with the nutrition and lifestyle changes that we made together, within 6 months, my periods were back to normal. And I was shook and honestly still a bit angry. Like, why didn't my doctors recommend any of these things? Why didn't I know that food could actually work as medicine? Like, why weren't we taught this? I was fired up about it. And I decided that everyone deserved access to this kind of information. So I went back to school for nutrition and I continued healing and rebalancing my own body along the way and began working with other women to rebalance their own hormones. So at the point that I became a mom, I was 5 years into learning everything I could for myself and 2 years into coaching other women through their own nutrition. So I had a pretty solid foundation, right? My food and self-care were like pretty dialed in. And then came the newborn days. and we didn't sleep through the night for 18 months. And then came the ever constant touching needs, stimulation, energy expenditure. Like it was impossible to do a 15-minute yoga flow without getting climbed all over. And a 30-minute meal in the kitchen turned into a 2-hour affair. And then it took 3 days to clean up, and it just wasn't worth it anymore. So I began cutting corners everywhere I could. I was desperate for convenience. We weren't sleeping. I was exhausted. Daycares were still shut down because of COVID. So baby was home with us all the time. And this was a time of true overwhelm and doing the absolute bare minimum. And we all have seasons like this in our life that we can point to. And what I experienced the deeper into the season that I went was that the more overwhelmed I felt, the more I had to cut corners and find convenient and sacrifice, quality for my self-care and nutrition. And then the more I cut corners, the more exhausted I felt. And the more exhausted I felt, the more overwhelmed by everything I felt. And it was this spiral that was sucking me down into burnout. I was staying up later than I should because I was like desperate for me time, but that me time was really just numbing out on my phone. I was anxious from the moment I woke up, thinking about all the things that I should be doing and running on empty. No matter how much sleep I got, I was exhausted and constantly felt guilty for not doing more and felt defeated at how little time and how little energy I really had. So, this is called survival mode. And let's just take a moment and recognize I'm a nutrition and health coach. So, if motherhood crumbled my foundation like this in the first couple years, of course it's going to be challenging for other moms who come into this season without the benefit, the privilege of that foundation that I had. So, me going through this myself, my anxiety was worse than ever. I was breaking out. My migraines came back. I was up like 20 pounds from my pre pregnancy weight, but up really like 40 pounds from where I really felt my healthiest. And I actually had to pause my nutrition business for about 2 full years because I just did not have it in me. So at this point, I'm feeling really burned out, and I hit a tipping point around when my second daughter was born. After a pretty scary health emergency left me in recovery mode, I was pretty much on bed rest for about 6 weeks, like unable to even hold my newborn while I recovered. So I had lots of time to think and be still with myself. And I realized as I was forced to be still that I had been in fight or flight in my body for far before I ever became a mom. And I had to get really real with myself about looking at the big gap between how I felt every day and how I wanted to feel in my life. And I really got to the point of realizing that I deserved better and my family deserved a lot better than this burned out, anxious shell of a version of me. So I went back to the basics from my nutrition training. I started really small and began to get more nourishment into my body on a regular basis. I started focusing on all the hormone balancing work I had been doing, balancing my blood sugar, and just building back in healthy habits that I already know make a difference because I'd been through this before. And slowly I began to get more energy throughout the day. And then this amazing thing happens where you get more energy and then you can reinvest that energy into taking care of yourself. And then because you're taking care of yourself, you have even more energy to reinvest. So the more I nourished my body, the more energy I had to nourish my body. So before long, I was back to a really solid routine, now with 2 kids instead of one, but feeling so much less overwhelmed and anxious and exhausted. I had the space and time because my nervous system was much more balanced. The space and time to meal prep my breakfast, to eat a real meal for myself, to my energy was stable all day. So in the evenings, I had energy to play tag and have dance parties with my kids. I ended up losing about 40 pounds in 6 months. And I had the energy and motivation to quit my job in clinical nutrition and devote myself to building my business full time. And most importantly, really, I think I felt a lot more present and joyful and patient with my family. I didn't spiral out into overwhelm, even if people around me were feeling overwhelmed. And that is what is waiting for you on the other side of getting more energy. That's what thriving looks like. You have the energy and the presence to show up every day for your incredible life that you're building. And it really does start with how you nourish your body. So I became obsessed with this. Like, why is it that so many moms and doctors and friends and spouses, like, why are we just accepting that motherhood is supposed to drain the life out of us? And why is it that in my nutrition training, we never once talked about the connection between our food and our nervous system in a significant way? Like, I had detailed protocols for all kinds of conditions and functions in the body except for stress itself. So I really modeled my business after the resources I wish I had had when I was deep in that burnout and overwhelm state, when I was so tired that even adding one more thing felt impossible. That is what this work is about. And if it's possible for me, it really is possible for you too. I know I have that foundation in nutrition training, but I'm still just a mom in the trenches, just like you. And my mission is for every mom to find her path to thriving because I really do believe that if we heal the moms, we heal the world. That trickles down into your family and out into your community at large. And really, the best path to thriving and healing is through nourishing the body and healing the nervous system. So I am so excited to be starting this podcast journey with you. And if you're resonating with my story and with the work that I do, I hope that you'll subscribe, stick around, and stay in the loop for when I drop new episodes. And if you'd like to connect with me further, you can find me over on Instagram at Luia Wellness, or you can hop on my email list. The link is down in the show notes, and you'll get weekly nutrition strategies and health in motherhood strategies, as well as you'll stay updated on any upcoming events or offers from me. So until next time, Mama, take beautiful care of yourself. Talk soon.